We're the job coaches for Stafford County Public Schools, and we're bringing this video or live to our students so they can have like a field trip to go to all these different businesses we have so they can see their job possibilities and see if they would be interested in this sort of job. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Shanna Boutchyard, and I'm the Manager of Volunteer Services with Rappahannock Goodwill Industries. And, thank you, Yvonne, for inviting me here today to speak with all of you. Hopefully I can just broaden your horizons about what Goodwill is, who we are, what we do, and who we serve. Let's see. So as I said, I'm the Manager of Volunteer Services, and I historically have managed and operated all of our volunteer programs, which range anywhere from court-ordered community service programs to we have an adult literacy tutoring program where we utilize volunteers. And we also have some volunteer work experience programs for different ages and different levels of individual, whether they be for people with disabilities or for high school students looking to gain work experience, or for individuals who are just looking for career exploration. What we do kind of crosses the gamut. So I manage our volunteer programs. Pre-COVID, that is all I did. Post-COVID, I'm doing a little bit of everything. So I'm actually teaching some of our virtual workshops that we offer now. I still manage volunteers, but I'm dabbling in grant writing and sort of filling in gaps where our organization has shrunk a little bit during this time. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to bring up right now. So hopefully that doesn't mess up your screens any. Just a minute. So the name of my presentation is, of course, just Rappahannock Goodwill Industries, but I had no idea because I like to talk to people a little bit more about what Goodwill is outside of our thrift stores. Most people know Goodwill for the name Goodwill, the thrift store. You can donate used household items, clothing, toys, shoes, furniture, anything you can think of. You can donate it to our stores and we will accept that and resell it. And we do that for our mission service program. So every time you donate to Goodwill, you are creating change and creating opportunities for jobs and job training for individuals with disabilities. So if you are a donor or a shopper of Goodwill, we thank you. If that's all you know about Goodwill, hopefully I can expand your horizons a little bit today. So we are Rappahannock Goodwill Industries. These facts are not anywhere in my presentation, but we are one of over 135 different Goodwill regions in the United States. So each Goodwill region kind of governs itself. We have a main Goodwill Industries International, which is our parent organization. We pay membership to be a part of that organization, to use the Goodwill name, if you will. And they are headquartered in Rockville, Maryland. They do just that. They provide sort of best practices, training, and sort of kind of unifying principles for Goodwills across the country. But we are Rappahannock Goodwill Industries, and we serve a 12-county territory in the city of Fredericksburg here in the Central Virginia region. There are at least 5 other Goodwill regions in Virginia. I'm not going to name them all because I'm not looking at the names right now, but if you're in Fredericksburg or any of our surrounding areas, Stafford, Spotsylvania, King George, Caroline, and places further to the east, you are in Rappahannock Goodwill Industries territory. So we have been affiliated with Goodwill since 1991, but we have been around in some of our other entities since 1966. We started out as a program called Adult Activities Incorporated. In the mid-60s, we were started as a place for individuals with disabilities to come and improve skills, whether that be to improve everyday living skills or to begin to improve skills so that they could move into employment in the community. So that's kind of the principle. Those are the principles that our mission services organization was founded on. We became affiliated with Goodwill in 1991 because it gave us a funding source to fund more of these mission-focused programs. Now, when I say mission-focused programs, I mean everything we do that is outside of the stores, outside of the thrift stores. So our word-for-word mission, as you can see on the screen here, is to create jobs locally, prepare people to succeed at work, and help them overcome barriers to employment. So what does that mean? We provide job training. We provide volunteer opportunities. We provide assistance with job search, filling out applications, writing resumes, as I said, practicing interview skills, looking for work, talking about job history, and learning kind of how you can use the skills that you have or learn about skills or training that you need to become successful in the world of work. We do that in a number of different ways. And I'll get to some of those shortly. So we do operate, as I mentioned, the face of Goodwill is definitely our thrift stores. We don't ever want to discount those. Our thrift stores are, they're what keep us going. So we have 12, including our outlet store, in the territories mentioned here on the screen. Now, pre-COVID, pre-March 2020, we operated 13 stores and our outlet store. As a result of the pandemic that we've been living in, we have shuttered one of our stores, but we have turned that space into our e-commerce department. So we're still utilizing the space, and we're hoping to expand our footprint online to continue to sell goods, to create revenue for programs. All right. So one of the questions that Yvonne sent was about kind of how we are structured. And this is just a very simplified version of our organizational chart. So we are an individually operating Goodwill. As such, we are governed by a board of directors that I did not include on here, but we have a 15-member board of directors made up of individuals from all different areas, business, nonprofit, across the gamut. And they, manage our president and CEO. And I didn't list names on here, just titles, so you can kind of see how we operate. So it goes board of directors down to our CEO. Our CEO manages different vice presidents who oversee different departments within Goodwill. So my programs, volunteers, and any of the job training and mission programs fall under our chief mission officer, as you can see here on the left. We also have a chief financial officer who oversees our accounting department. We are, there's a lot of accounting principles that go along with everything that we do. So our stores, our mission services, we have a vast accounting department. We have a VP who oversees human resources, marketing, information technology, sort of the internal structures for our organization, and then kind of our outward message to the community. We have one person who oversees all of those departments. And then, of course, we have a VP who oversees our stores. Okay, so stores and contract services, those would be the entities of Goodwill that are our revenue seeking sources. Okay, so just so you can kind of see that it's not just stores, all of the other departments that make up Goodwill kind of fall here in our organizational structure. I'm using my mouse to circle here on the very left, mission services, because that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. Okay. So in addition to our Goodwill stores and our Goodwill mission services, we oversee some other programs. Our RGI commercial unit, a lot of people don't know this about us, but we provide job opportunities to people with documented disabilities to allow them to be in competitive employment. And we do that through contract services. Our contract services are highly custodial in nature, but we also, up until the end of 2020, we had a commercial laundry facility where we provided job training, and it was a way for people to gain work experience. And also up until about mid-2020, we operated a staffing agency called Task Force Staffing. Unfortunately, those two entities have been shuttered, again, as a result of the pandemic, but I don't want to focus on the negative. We still have some great services to offer, including ServiceMaster Clean, which you may recognize that name. We own a franchise of ServiceMaster. So we have crews who are actually Goodwill and ServiceMaster employees who work solely in that field. So not just stores or mission services opportunities, but there are, if you ever are looking for work and you see the Goodwill name associated with something like a custodial position with ServiceMaster, for example, but you see Goodwill's name thrown in there, don't be confused. It's part of what we do. It's part of how we can offer job opportunities and job training to individuals with barriers to employment. So a little bit about some different brands that fall under our Goodwill umbrella. So mission services, where my programs fall, everything that we offer in the mission services department is an effort to provide opportunity to people, to get them placed in jobs, to get them trained for jobs, to get them to update the skills they need to apply for jobs. We don't just assist people with getting jobs with Goodwill, we'll assist people with getting jobs anywhere. Okay, so that is a big part of what we do, especially, you can see the second, I'm gonna get to the top bullet point here in a minute, but I'm gonna skip to the second bullet point here. Our job help centers, we assist people with the basic skills they need to apply for work. So if you need to improve computer skills, or you need to write a resume, or learn how to fill out applications, or write a cover letter, or practice interview skills, or just look for work and find out where to look for work, how to apply for jobs in the community, you can come to one of our job help centers. They're virtual right now, but I can talk to you about how to schedule appointments with those centers and get the help that you need to find work. Again, not just with Goodwill, but anywhere in the community. We have an adult literacy tutoring program. So if you come to our Job Help Center, for example, and you need to improve all of these skills, but you're at, you or somebody you know might be at a very basic level. You need to improve computer skills, but you need to improve English language speaking skills first, or improve reading skills, or maybe learn how you can get your GED. We can assist you in our adult literacy tutoring program called the Good Skills Literacy Core. Now, historically, when I've talked about the Good Skills Literacy Core, I would also talk about AmeriCorps, which was sort of the power behind our literacy program, but our affiliation with AmeriCorps ended in August. But we still, if you've ever heard the terms adult literacy and opportunities with Goodwill, we still operate that adult literacy tutoring program, and we're trying to maintain during this time and then hopefully grow as the world rights itself. So our Good Skills Literacy Core is the only free adult literacy tutoring program in the area. There are many programs out there who assist adults with these skills, but we are free. We are solely operated within Goodwill, but we partner with the local adult education program, the local library system, and many other entities who help us both with referrals to the program and then with the information that we need to share with adults in that program. So some of the programs that you see here in red: extended employment services, day support programs, supported employment. These are some of our more very in-depth mission programs. These are programs for people with documented disabilities, and we provide training to them and resources to them to improve skills that they need to move into competitive employment in the community, or to just maintain competitive employment if that is their goal. So you won't find much information about these programs, how to enter these programs, if you do a Google search, but if you contact Goodwill and we can talk to you about how to get connected to those programs. But they are for people with documented disabilities. Some of the more general programs that we offer are listed here at the top. So I should have moved this to last, but I will move back to the first bullet point and talk about the Virginia Career Work Center. So Goodwill operates right now what is called the Virginia Career Work Center. It is the Fredericksburg region's one-stop center. And what that means is there are a ton of different entities housed under one roof that offer services to people who need to get jobs or who need to find employment. Prior to Goodwill taking over this program, it was run and it was operated by the Virginia Employment Commission. The Virginia Employment Commission is still a part of the Virginia Career Work Center, but they are one partner in an office filled with different entities. So I'm going to, hopefully the connection works here. I'm going to bring up the website here that talks about the Virginia Career Work Center and what it does. This is really, again, a one-stop shop for people who need to find work. Being affiliated, having the Virginia Employment Commission as a partner in this one-stop center, we've been busy during this time, as you can imagine. Unemployment rising, so many people losing their jobs, people looking for different opportunities, and just trying to find out what's next for them if they're going through a career change as a result of this pandemic. The Virginia Employment Commission was the place where a lot of people turned to not just get unemployment benefits, but to learn what was next. So again, the Virginia Employment Commission is a partner in the Virginia Career Work Center. Goodwill is also a partner, but Goodwill right now is operating that entire center. So we have Goodwill employees in that center, and then other partners of other entities. And let me see if I can get here. Services for adults offered in that center. So let's see. So you see at the top list here, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA. This provides training to people who either have been dislocated from their jobs or who need to gain skills to find new careers. That is a source of funding that is one partner in the Virginia Career Work Center. So it doesn't go into the other partners, but some of the other partners in the Virginia Career Work Center are partners like the Virginia Employment Commission, DARS, the Division for Aging and Rehabilitative Services, Germanna Community College is a partner. There are Veteran Services, Service Source, which provides training to youth. There, let's see, Job Corps, all services, again, for people who you come to this one-stop shop for any services that you need. And if it's not Goodwill or WIOA or the Virginia Employment Commission that can provide those services to you, likely there is a partner there that can provide the services to you. And we want to refer individuals to the necessary services. So this is kind of one of the more confusing things to talk about, how Goodwill operates and how we are a partner in this program. But in the presentation, I listed some links that will help. So hopefully you can kind of learn more about what how Goodwill is affiliated with this program and kind of how we offer help through that. So. All right, so a couple of people have mentioned now that work experience program that we have. We allow classes from different high schools, different local high schools in Stafford, Spotsylvania, and the city of Fredericksburg, and in some of our outer counties to come into our stores to really learn work skills. So you heard a lot about sort of moving around our donations and hanging items on the sales floor and kind of moving merchandise around. Those are some of the hard sort of actual volunteer duties that we would assign to you. But some of the soft skills that we provide that are provided during those experiences are things like keeping a time card, clocking into your shift and clocking out of your shift. So we would actually have you document your time on an actual time card, which companies may or may not do. It's probably electronic in the real world, but it gets you kind of in the mindset of sticking to a schedule for your volunteer or work opportunity, following instructions, learning kind of the basic things that make our stores operate. Those are some of the experiences that if you were involved in that program that you were gaining. So as I said, I hope that we can get back to that in the coming months. I'm past this because a lot of this slide has changed again during the pandemic. We used to have many more partners, but these are collaboration zones. So Goodwill has a main office in South Fredericksburg, the Massaponax area of Fredericksburg. We call it our Goodwill Community Resource Center, and that is where historically things like our president's offices, accounting, IT, sort of the main departments of Goodwill, our donated goods managers have offices there. Our mission services offices are there as well. But we also share our office space with community partners that have similar visions to what Goodwill does. So we don't have the exact same mission. We're not doing the exact same things, but likely we're serving some of the exact same people. So we shared office space with some other entities you see on the screen here. FAHOS, the Children's Home Society, the Child Care Network, and Smart Beginnings Rappahannock area are all people who still maintain offices in our space. So if you go physically to our office at 4701 Market Street, these offices are open right now during the pandemic. Goodwill's offices are not. So our stores are open, these partners' offices are open, but Goodwill's offices are all still virtual. So you can contact people virtually for Goodwill services, but these people are still alive and well in our building. So how has Goodwill adapted to COVID-19? We shut down at the end of March 2020, like so many other places. We shut down every single one of our stores on March 27th, 2020. We shut down our mission services actually the week before that. And then we sort of had to figure out what was next for us. We unfortunately had to lay off over 200 individuals as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. But as we started opening stores starting in late May, early June of 2020, we were able to hire back so many of those individuals and also offer job opportunities to new individuals. And we still to this day have job openings in our stores. So we're trying to provide opportunity to those in need right now. To date, all of our stores are reopened, as I said, with the exception of one store that we closed permanently, but replaced with our online sales department, if you will. So our mission services employees are still all working virtually. Our stores are open to the public. We try to follow all CDC guidelines. If you come into our stores, you are required to wear a mask. If you've been into any one of our stores recently, you may have noticed a change. The stores may look a little emptier. And that's just because we're trying to keep things spread out a little more. Goodwill stores have a history of looking a little cluttered because we have a lot of stuff to resell. So we've just tried to change some of those procedures during this time. And we've moved a lot to online sales. We're hoping to grow our presence in the online sales world. But for services like our adult literacy tutoring program or for assistance with looking for work or resume writing, we do offer all of that virtually right now. So I'm going to click on another link. So this is what we call our virtual services landing page. And this is how the best way to get connected to any of Goodwill's services outside of our stores at this time. Okay, so we're we have been very, very busy assisting people who have been on unemployment during the pandemic, trying to get them connected to new jobs. That is a lot of what we do. So people can connect to us in a few different ways. You can send us an email. You can call us to schedule an appointment. We do offer limited in-person appointments. So if you or somebody you know needs assistance applying for a job, maybe you need computer access, you just want to talk to somebody and see somebody instead of talking to them on a computer screen, we do have limited in-person appointments available right now out of the Virginia Career Work Center. So there is a resource computer lab in that office, and we can meet people in person there. Everything else that we offer is online. So let's see. I'm going to scroll down the page here and show you some of what we might offer virtually. Can you still see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so this is our mission service staff that is still with us. Let's see. You can click, if you go to this site that is included in the presentation, if you're able to send that out, they can watch a video on how the services work. Let's see. But I wanted to bring up here our upcoming virtual events, and hopefully this page has been updated. No, it hasn't. But this is where we would, any specialized workshops that we offer would go here on this page. So all of this is current. We're still offering this. It's an updated. So you should all have January dates, but we still offer workshops on a weekly basis. Is moving down here. Our basic computer digital literacy workshops are offered every day of the week. We do that through Zoom. So if somebody's interested in improving basic computer skills and any of the topics that you see listed here, from computer basics to internet, email, an intro to Microsoft Word, or intro to Google Basics, we offer these every day of the week, and individuals can contact me to get signed up for those. Okay.
Wow.
Let's see. So literacy tutoring, again, if you or somebody you know is in need of some really basic remedial assistance or is looking to gain a basic skill that we might not be able to assist with in our job help centers, you can get connected to our adult literacy tutoring program. Or if you or somebody you know is looking for assistance with job training, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act that Goodwill manages might be a good program for you as well. Call this our virtual services landing page because everything that is offered here we would be able to connect with you either on the computer or on the phone to offer these services. Some of those in-person opportunities, again, are not being offered right now, but we hope that changes in the coming months. All right, so again, some of the services that we offer in person. Our in-person volunteering opportunities, our court-ordered community service program, our schoolwork experience program that a couple of you have mentioned now. I'm glad we have some fans out there. Have been suspended until further notice, but hopefully I really have high hopes for the spring of 2021 that we'll start to get back to a little more normal operating services. So, all right, so that is the end of that. I'm gonna.
As far as those three red things,
yes,
that were highlighted in red or written in red.
Yep.
Is one of those by any chance the gardening center or a mattress factory?
So that might be included in our day support program. Yeah, and I can email you some of the contacts for those programs after this. Jessica Weber operates that program for us. So she takes groups of individuals out in the community. I know that we used to have an entity at Meadows Farms Nursery. We had a crew volunteering in Spotsylvania Regional Medical Center,
Wow.
a car care center somewhere downtown. So a lot of she and her staff take groups of individuals out in the community to sort of like the schoolwork experience. People come to Goodwill to learn those skills. She takes groups of people affiliated with our programs out in the community to learn what's out there.
Okay, so everybody in Jessica's.
In a perfect world, when we start bringing the groups back into our stores to volunteer, I would be the one setting all of that information up, all of those. So coming into the stores to do that. We're accompanied by a job coach from your schools, or maybe your school, other schools. And we're coming into, and then they were working shifts in our stores, volunteering shifts in our stores to kind of learn the basic skills. We call it our schoolwork experience program. So we track the time spent by students in those programs as volunteer hours. But hopefully the trade-off was that they were learning sort of the basic skills needed for any entry-level position in the store area of Goodwill.
Well, they're trained to work pretty much anywhere. That's some good training, very good training.
Yeah. So we track that as volunteer time, but we hope that they're learning a little bit more about sort of being out there, following instructions from a manager, hopefully
just speaking to the manager.
Yeah, speaking to the manager. Yeah. Probably the retail operations in Goodwill were a little different than retail operations they may see in Walmart.
we mock everything we do with you guys. We do the same thing in Walmart. It's exactly the same. We find the manager of our area every time and speak with them just like we do there at Goodwill.
Great. So so when we start scheduling that again, you can certainly reach out to me. Or I'll reach out to our different contacts at the schools and say, we're ready to go.
So I don't see any hands up. So I'm just going to start with my list of questions unless you had more.
I have the list that you emailed me if you want to go into like how I started with Goodwill, but it might be sort of a different way into than some people might be interested in. So it's up to you. Why don't you ask?
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us how we should do it first?
Okay. So to look for jobs at Goodwill, let's see. I don't want to mess up anything that you have on the screen right now.
I know, sorry.
No, that's okay. So normally I would say go to our website to find our job openings. And that you can still do that. But we right now, everything that we have in terms of job openings is advertised on Indeed.com. So if you go to Indeed.com and do a search for Rappahannock Goodwill Industries, all of our job openings, everything from part-time or full-time store positions into any other area that we offer, you can apply directly through Indeed.
Oh, that's great. We have application practice and resume practice through Indeed as well. So that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So generally, you're connecting your Indeed resume to our opening, and that's your application. We may ask a couple other supplemental questions. For most positions, the age pre-COVID, I think, to gain a job at Goodwill was 16. I don't think that has changed. But don't 16. Quote me on that. Yes,
that's great.
I will look that up and let you know.
So what would the job look like for a 16-year-old on Indeed? Would it actually say a 16-year-old could apply, or is it just a term like retail worker?
I mean, they may ask you a question, are you at least so and so, such and such age? Many of our positions, again, in the programs that we aren't operating as much anymore, we're 18 and up, but that might be just if you're dealing with specialized equipment or you're working sort of in our warehouse. There's a lot of heavy equipment in the warehouse area I believe for 16, I mean, cashier, donation attendant. The reason I'm not going to speak too heavily about that is because some of our processing procedures have changed. And so you may donate to a store and some basic processing may happen at the store level, but we are moving into a more centralized processing area. So a lot of times donations are carted from the store to our warehouse and then back out to the stores once they're graded and tagged. So that's a procedure that I'm just learning kind of as we're moving through this pandemic.
Right.
But I will check on the minimum age. Again, I know it used to be 16. I'll check on that and I can let you know. But as of now, our application happens through Indeed. So if you have an open resume listed on Indeed and you push apply to one of our jobs, it would come directly to our human resources department. Okay.
What about the starting pay?
So for entry-level retail positions, the starting pay is $10.80 an hour.
Wow, that's really competitive.
We think so.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So that is for most store positions start at $10.80. If you're done with high school and you're interested in sort of an employment aid position, for example, that's one of the historic positions that we've had that are sort of outside of our stores. And those are the positions that we have maybe working with individuals with disabilities or working in our custodial services. Those positions would start out at $13. Store positions that might be what your students are interested in, it would be $10.80.
That's especially if they could be, 18 even.
Hmm.
So that 16 would be really great because I have a lot of
I'm sure.
like even ninth and 10th graders. I'd really like a job. And I'm like, well, how old are you? So
Right.
that's great. So 16, that's hopeful. Is there any way we can find that out for sure?
Yes, I'm going to find out word for word and then send you kind of the hiring practices if that's okay. Can I just use you as the contact for that?
Yes. And then I'll send it out to all the job coaches and they can work their own high school.
And if
That's
it's even if
great.
it's not, no matter what the age is, I'll still send you the exact procedure of how to apply.
Okay.
And so for jobs with Goodwill, there was a process. But if you I know that you offer some of these classes through your job coaches and through your classes in high school. But if you just have somebody who wants some extra training, who wants to sort of get a different perspective on a computer workshop or get a second set of eyes on a resume that they've created, or to just learn about job openings, I would definitely encourage you to schedule an appointment with our Job Help Center.
Job Help Center. Is that only for people that live in this area?
When it's a virtual service,
Virtual,
no.
so I was wondering.
We don't. If we're scheduling a virtual appointment with you, we're not going to ask where you live.
Okay.
So
Because
if
we
you
do have some students that have moved away, but
Sure.
they're not affiliated with any job coach now, but
Mhm.
I could recommend that they maybe come here and at least try.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what that would look like, we would talk on the phone or a video chat and talk about kind of the needs and go through the same process that we would go through in person in our job help centers. So that is a free service offered to anyone 16 and up, again, who either needs to improve a basic skill or look for work.
Okay. Any translators that work there that would work with our students when they go to work there, or employees that you guys would have?
Are you speaking about other languages or ASL interpreters or anything?
Any of that?
We don't have ASL interpreters on staff. If somebody needed that service, we would to meet that need. If it is, believe that our employment specialist in the Career Work Center is bilingual.
Oh, so when you say bilingual, you mean Spanish and English?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know that's not the all end all, but she is bilingual.
And I know the kids are going to have to start leaving in about 5 minutes. So if you just want to put out there everything that you think we should include. So
one of the questions that I thought was really interesting that you sent me was, what are the basic qualifications to work at Goodwill? And, I could go into things like you have to want to work in sales, or you have to be customer focused. But I think one of the best things to say is that you have to have an interest in helping others. And another question was, where do people go on to after Goodwill? Many of the people that I have had either in volunteer programs or AmeriCorps or any of our job focused programs may start out at Goodwill accidentally. They maybe didn't realize what Goodwill offered, but because of what they learned while they're at Goodwill, many of them go on to look for jobs in the human services industry, which I think is incredible. Sort of that, while we're not actually social workers here, but it really connects people to sort of helping positions. So if you have an interest in helping people improve their lives, and any entry-level position at Goodwill, if you're willing to learn about the organization and kind of why we do what we do, is sort of a great start into the human services industry. So,
wow, that's great.
But also traditional things like store management and marketing, and definitely you can learn those skills as well.
Once heard, I think it was the Cheesecake Factory manager speaking about who he would want to work for him. He's like, the servers, if they just want to be a server, I don't want to really hire them. But if they want to be the manager one day and they're willing to start out as a server, I would love to have them. So is there anything like that? Like, that you would give as a
of hope. So my own entry into Goodwill was kind of interesting. This is the only job I've ever had outside of college. So I do have a business degree, a bachelor's of science, but I started out at Goodwill 14 years ago as a receptionist.
Wow.
Goodwill really does, it can be a great place to sort of build your career and move up if that's something that you're interested in. So I started off as a receptionist. I moved into one of our job help centers and assisted people with computer training and resume writing. And then I got to help create the volunteer program and take over that program about 10 years ago. So, a receptionist is a pretty entry-level position no matter where you go. So, you know, I can be living proof of kind of how you can work your way up. If you're interested in working your way up anywhere, I would definitely encourage you to kind of learn about the management structure of wherever you end up. It's only going to help you for the future. So.
And you are, but when you first started as a receptionist, had you already finished your degree?
Yes. Yeah. I graduated in December.
They were lucky to get you as a receptionist.
I started as a receptionist in January 07. And the day that I accepted a job at Goodwill, I got a job offer from Lowe's as well. So, you know, I was applying everywhere. I don't know if you remember much about 2007. It wasn't a very good job market. So
wow. That's great. Well, they're in high school. So, they only apply before college. So are there any classes that they should really make sure they do well in or really pay attention to while they're in high school?
Interested in sort of the pricing structure and sort of the model of our business model. You know, if you take classes in any computer classes are helpful. If you're in like economics classes, I won't say that you need perfect math skills to do things here, but I would say sort of the social science classes and maybe the economics classes are some interesting classes that you might not think of that would help you in a field like this. But
okay, all right. Well, I'll ask again, guys. Is there any question from any of our teachers or any of our job coaches, even, or any of our students? Do you have a question for Miss Boutchyard?
Donna had a question inside.
Okay, go ahead, Donna.
Looking.
I can't either. Let me see. Who was that,
I
Donna?
just want to know if she can.
I heard Ellen, but I thought she said
Hear me
Donna
now?
had a. Yeah, Donna's open. Go ahead, Donna.
Sorry, I had to unplug my earphones. I want to know a little bit about the supported employment and what it consists of as far as job wise.
so our supported employment program has employment aides and employment specialists who work with referrals to that program, generally from DARS. So if you're interested in supported employment, I would encourage you to get connected to DARS first. We are just one of, the many vocational rehabilitation facilities they can choose for their clients, but we do offer traditional job coaching and matching to individuals in that program. So you would be assigned a job coach who would work with you on, meeting whatever your career-related goals are. And our job coaches right now are still serving individuals out in the community in person. So that program is alive and well as the world writes itself. But I can send Yvonne the main contact for that program as well. But I do know that to be referred to the program, it does need to come from an entity like DARS.
Okay, thanks. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
We're going to set one up just with Jessica. So just for that reason.
Yeah.
So Bethany, did you want to say anything or ask anything? If you're still here.
No, I'm still here. Yeah, no, I appreciate all the information. I know that a lot of our students really enjoyed their experiences that they've had at Goodwill thus far. And I hope it's something that we can continue, and maybe giving them those experiences, the school setting can encourage them to pursue some of those things as they transition to adulthood. So we appreciate all the info.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Cassandra brought up,
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. Is there any way we could get some clothes or something to pretend with or to train with while we're at school that already have the noodles in them and stuff like that?
That's an interesting concept. I can certainly look into that. Let me.
I mean, I don't know if other schools would be interested in that, but I know I would be interested in that.
That's great.
It's hard to explain the noodle.
Yeah. Let me work on that. So Stafford County right now, are you still all virtual or?
Yes. Well, we are until February, and then we're going to be both.
Okay. Let me think about that and get back to you. Okay. I will jump on that, I promise, because that's a great idea.
Thank you.
We have students that
I would be interested too.
Oh, great. Thank you. That's Donna and Ellen. And I'll send it to everybody. So even Barbara and Christopher. So that's great that you guys would be interested too. So anything we could do the kids would say, oh yeah, we used to do this. We know how to do it. Let's make sure we keep up with that. Okay. That would be great.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Nice to see you all. Thank you for your questions and your interest.
Awesome.